Hey there, welcome. Welcome to Rise and Receive. This is an opportunity in your day to stop whatever you're doing and explore how to receive fulfillment in your life by unlearning struggle. So today we're going to be reviewing tip number 5 in the top 10 series on inviting fulfilling relationships. And this tip is be brave early and often. So if there's a relationship where you are asking yourself, what should I do? What should I say? Should I do this? Should I not do this? Should I say this? Should I not say this? You're trying to figure out what's the right thing to do or say, then I invite you to just kind of be aware of that particular relationship, whether it's romantic, whether it doesn't exist and you'd like it to be romantic, whether it's family, friends, or professional, and just kind of keep this in your awareness as we explore this tip. Tip number 5, be brave early and often. Hi Scott, great to see you. Thanks for joining me. So if you don't know me, my name is Sonia Miller. I'm a speaker, coach, and best-selling author, and I mentor ambitious, goal-oriented people to surpass their limits with ease and speed. And the way that I do this is I illuminate the behaviors and blind spots that are unique to outcome-driven people. Because if there's one thing that I've learned over 20 years of coaching ambitious, goal-oriented people, and I count myself as one of them, is that we tend to be really good at the skill set that is like the hunter, which is about pursuing, thinking, and a whole lot of doing. And we're less familiar with the receiving skill set, pursuing versus receiving, which is all about the inner world of feelings and experiences and consciousness. Because one of the foundational premises that we stand on here is that your consciousness creates your reality. And so what happens is when you're really good at the hunt or pursuing skill set and your goals haven't been realized yet, what do? We work even harder. And that blind spot right there is the cause of our upper limits. But when we open up to the skill set of receiving, which is often the one skill that most ambitious, goal-oriented people don't have or are malnourished in, then all sorts of upper limits dissolve and entirely new things become possible. So that's what we do here at Rise and Receive. And today we're going to talk about this tip, be brave early and often, and how it relates to inviting fulfilling relationships. So I always like to look at things kind of in polarities because it just really helps to paint a picture of what you're probably doing a lot of and what you're probably not doing much of that can make all the difference. So if you're in doing mode or hunter mode and you're asking yourself, what should I do? What should I say? Is this the right thing to do? And you're just really kind of struggling with that. What tends to happen is that you're probably looking at that relationship question or challenge or just the problem that you're trying to solve through right, wrong thinking. And what tends to happen when you're in hunter mode or doing mode is if I can just figure out the right answer and apply it to this situation, then everything will turn out just fine. So what tends to happen is when you're in right, wrong thinking, you're either trying to guarantee an outcome or avoid pain. Now, if you're doing project management, if you're responsible or accountable for an outcome, that's a good strategy. But when you're in the realm of relationships, there's no guarantees. Hi, Bogomila, I'm glad you made it. There are no guarantees. Relationships cannot be controlled. They are messy, and sometimes they're painful. We all know that. So if you're approaching this problem-solving situation through this right-wrong lens, and you're trying to guarantee an outcome or avoid pain, you're really setting yourself up for not having fulfillment. Hey, Suzanne, it's a party. So what we can do then to shift into where there's more power is to shift out of doing mode, which tends to be right, wrong thinking, outcome-oriented, and pain avoidant in our relationships, and instead shift to being brave early and often. So what does that mean? Well, when you're being brave in a relationship, whether it exists, whether it doesn't exist, and I kind of came up with 3 categories. Let's say you're dating, or you're in a relationship and you want to deepen it, 3 Ds, or you're in a discovery process where, let's say, whether it's romantic or friendship or business, right? You're in a discovery process. You're kind of wondering what's possible here. In all of these scenarios, being brave early and often can help you. So what are you being brave about? How are you being brave? What you're being brave about is being you as fully expressed as possible. Okay? It's all focused on how you are showing up. So what that means is very, very simple. Here's a very concrete tip is put your attention on I statements. That means you are connecting with you, what you want, what you don't want, what you like, what you don't like, what you love, what your limits are, and you share that fully, bravely. Okay? Now, so it would look like statements like I want, I don't want, I like, I don't like, I love, I feel, I'm feeling, I felt. It's all about you sharing, bringing that into the relationship or the possibility of one or the discovery process bravely, as early as possible and as often as possible. Now, that's very, very different than the doing model where you're looking at what you should say or do, or if this is right or this is wrong, right? And you're trying to like manage it so that you get the outcome you want. You don't want to be rejected. You don't want to offend somebody. You might be very attached to the outcome, so you're avoiding the pain, right? But that just doesn't work. There's no fulfillment in that. At best, what you do is you contort yourself and you maneuver yourself, and you might avoid pain for a little while, but you might also avoid getting the information you need to make a good decision. Or you might get the outcome you want, or you might delay getting an outcome that you're afraid of getting and hearing what you need to hear or finding out something you need to find. Now, again, relationships sometimes they're scary, sometimes they're pain, they're definitely messy. But if you really want to invite fulfilling relationships, and you practice coming back to being you bravely, boldly, as early and often as possible, then you can move into having the kinds of relationships you want, and in the long run, avoiding some pain. So let me give you a little bit more of an example. Let's say you're in a dating scenario. One of my favorite relationship coaches, and I've studied with many, is Alison Armstrong. And I love what she says about dating. She says dating is a sorting process. Much more of a sorting process than a finding process. If you go out into dating and you're out trying to find the one, right, then you might get attached even every time you're trying to, determine, is this the one? I'm going to try it out with them. And is this the one? I'm going to try it out with them. But if instead you focus not on the other person, are they the one, but you focus on you being brave early and often, then as you do that and you're dating, then it's much easier to sort through the people who are not a match for you. Yes, no, 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 maybe. No, 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 yes, maybe. Then you keep being brave and you're in a discovery process, okay? So that really helps. It also helps to be as honest as possible, which goes back to the earlier tip, know thyself. If you're honest, if you put it out there, and that's what being brave is, it's about putting it out there, then you get to watch what happens. And this is how you invite. So what's the invitation process? What you're inviting when you do this is useful information. Okay, so we've talked about the doing model. We've talked about the being model, which is being brave. Now the invitation occurs because you're inviting useful information. If you're dating, you're sorting out who's a match and who's not, okay? If you're in a deepening experience where you're in a relationship that you want to go deeper, that you want to experience greater fulfillment, you're going to be inviting useful information by sharing yourself fully and then discovering how to work together. And if you are in a discovery process, you're going to be inviting information about what's possible here. So once you put yourself out there and you continue to do this as a way of being, then your job is to watch. Watch, observe, pay attention. You're going to watch how the other person shows up. You're going to watch how the other person responds, and you're going to watch that person's actions. You're also going to watch their reactions, because their reactions and then their later response to you will tell you a lot about what this is made of, what's possible. Okay, can we work together? What can we create together? because the way they react and the way they respond is either going to be closer to you, they're going to lean in, or further away. They're going to open to you more, or they're going to close down. They're going to become more curious, or they're just going to start to lose interest. So this is why knowing thyself and having your relationship with yourself be your primary relationship, which is one of the earlier tips, is so important, because then you're not being swept back and forth and reacting to everything that happens with other people. You begin with you. The power lies with you, which was another tip. So we've been building, you see, know thyself, the power lies with you, right? You are your primary relationship. All of this centers you in a place of power, so then you can practice these ways of being, not doing, which invites fulfilling relationships. So I hope this was helpful. If it was, please like, please share. It helps me reach the people that I'm here to serve. Subscribe by clicking on the red button in YouTube. And I'm going to give you a little bit of inspiration. This is from the Receive Oracle card deck. This is on Amazon. You can go there to get this card deck, which has 56 principles of receiving your fulfillment by unlearning struggle. And today's card is receive your value. So this affirmation, when you're feeling a little bit nervous or a little bit vulnerable, you can say this to yourself. I am willing to believe that my needs and wants are good and valuable. If you are willing to believe that your needs and wants and feelings and boundaries and limits and preferences and what you like and don't like is good and valuable, then you get to watch how the other person responds to you, and you get to discover what's possible with that person in all situations. All right. So if you like this and you'd like to learn a little bit more about relationships and you want to take some next steps, I have a couple possibilities for you. Definitely join the Receive community. That's at here on Facebook, and you can look for the link above or below, depending on where you're watching this. And if you would like, I have a brand new service. It's totally free. Just go to showmenextsteps.com. Answer 5 questions. I will read through them, and I will make some recommendations about some resources that I think will help you depending on your learning style, your topic of interest, and your budget, from free to whether you want to invest in yourself and get some more involved support, courses and coaching and groups and things like that. And then remember, as always, you cannot receive what you most want if you don't know how to receive. So I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you at the next Rise and Receive. Bye, everybody.